It's interesting. Look at the. There's actually more Anglos here than there are Hispanics. I don't see any others out here. Well, we want to keep our Second Amendment. We want to keep our Second Amendment.
I live in Idaho. I'm not aware of the Second Amendment.
You're not a.
It's city from here. I live here. I grew up here, but I live in Idaho.
You are not aware of the Second Amendment. Look, she's not aware of the Second Amendment. Oh my goodness. We need to have Ted Cruz pocket Constitution. I should have grabbed a whole handful last month and started handing them out. I only have one. Huh?
I need to go get a ton of them myself and start handing them out.
Well, they're Republican Party headquarters over on 410.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 410 between Nacogdoches and Broadway, where that those two buildings are facing 410.
All right.
Yeah. I think it's in the first building before the second building towards Broadway. It's like that CH or something type of real estate type of logo on there. I don't remember it's 909 Northeast Loop 410.
Okay.
That's where it is.
I'll make sure I get over there and get some. Right.
Yeah, I need to get a handful. Yeah. I picked only one up because there was only like 5 copies.
Yeah.
When
what's it was just do printouts of it
during the BB and the Allison debate.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I needed a handful of them for the event that we did over at the March for Our Lives.
Oh, I wanted to go to that one. I would have tore a good one into them.
Yeah, it was a good event. We had a small turnout because of the rain.
Right.
It went really well. David Hogg actually came out and talked to us.
Oh, you're making me mad, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to go in there and talk some sense. And I was like, do you think it's okay to bully Lauren Ingram and pull her advertisers?
Right.
Do you have any respect for private property like at Publix?
Well, see, the funny thing is they had state Texas peace officers. And
they didn't have guns.
They did not have guns. 0.
God.
Yeah, they made them leave their guns in the car.
But that was classic. The lady from Idaho that's never heard of the Second Amendment. She goes on camera saying that. You know, I think in order to vote, people need to learn, they need to have a test of the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights. And they need to pass that test before they go out
I think
and
that
vote.
used to be a requirement for citizenship.
She's a citizen like me. That's the sad part.
I know, exactly. I'm gonna go talk to these guys.
Sound good.
Do one more. You got one more? All right, we got some dancing for you. You gotta dance this one. With this guy right here, you right now. Come on, man. You look really nice.
You know, for the west side, I haven't seen a whole lot of white folk out here. So
Okay, here we go.
I don't see a lot of white folk out here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is predominantly 80%.
Maybe a little more.
A little more, yeah. So a lot of these people are coming from out of town.
Exactly.
And it's just like that lady from Idaho.
And when I walked in, the lady said that there was some veterans for Beto here, but I don't see any veterans anywhere or them advertising or anything.
Nope.
Over here, a sign. That's over here. Everybody's like.
No, we should have got in the taco line. I didn't get a chance to eat.
Well, I went to that restaurant. Yeah. So it was reasonably priced. I mean, I got 3 enchiladas for $6.75 with the drink. I don't care for beef enchiladas. I meant to say cheese, but I was like, all right, I was just hungry. Or maybe it was just the heat. Because I don't eat a whole lot when it's 100 degrees.
I don't either. I made a mistake this morning. I threw it's called a egg Mexican type, and it's got cut peppers, tomatoes, onions.
Joaquin Castro is over there.
Bunch of.
Oh, Joaquin. Let's ask him about Russia. If there's any proof on Russia.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, that thing called me up.
What are they doing right there? He is right there. See that?
And that gray
I
shirt.
saw him earlier coming in. He's got a kid with him too.
Yeah, the guy with the veterans for Beto or Castro is over there. Joaquin.
Joaquin.
Joaquin Castro?
Yeah, he's right there. And then over
Is he
there.
a veteran?
Hell no. He probably belongs to the fucking organization or something.
Yeah, he's a veteran of the Banana Republic.
Yeah, they took pictures with him.
They're all trying to figure out what to do. But like we were saying, the majority of these people, they're from out of town.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, the gay organization is over there.
Okay. I'm going to ask Joaquin if there's any evidence of Russia collusion involving President Trump.
Why the hell haven't you done something?
Right. Let me see if I can get him. Cover him. Hey, Joaquin.
Two losers. Two losers.
I'll ask him the question.
Number.
Yeah. Which one's Joaquin? The one at
The one on that side is Joaquin, and no, Joaquin is over here, and the other one's over there.
Okay, so Joaquin's with the kid?
Jan is the wife.
Okay, who's got who's holding the child?
The what?
Who's holding the child? Joaquin or?
Joaquin.
Joaquin. Joaquin Castro, I have a question for you in 1 sec. Is there
That's like just going on the high street. Where do you organize it?
So Joaquin, is there any evidence of Russia collusion between President Trump? Where's the proof?
I'm Julian.
Oh, you're
So
who?
yeah,
Okay.
he's Joaquin.
Joaquin, okay.
Okay.
Great to see you. Of course, thank you for being here. We got to win.
Switcheroo again. That's really hard to tell them apart, I'd say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're working on it.
Hey Joaquin, I have a question. Is there any evidence between Russia and Donald Trump?
Yes.
Where is it?
It's coming.
Where is it?
You want me? What? You know that it's like
The Democrats are putting it together.
No, it's not
Democrats are
classified.
putting it together.
It's not classified one way or another. So where's the evidence? We want to know, right? We want to know.
Senator.
Hell no!
All right, now I know.
So where's the evidence?
Come a little bit closer.
Where's the evidence?
We're gonna do this right.
show you what? It's right here. You
Live
haven't seen
on
it?
social media, and I
Is it not? Is it not? Is it from CNN or is it actually from the Justice Department?
White House.
The White House. Okay. What's United States code? What's the United States code?
Just look on there. You'll
I've
find it.
looked. I can't
promise
find
you.
it. I can't
Then I
find
can't
it.
help
I'm
you if you
asking
can't
you.
find it.
I'm asking you.
Great watch by what has been created by
Oh,
them.
whoa, 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 whoa. It's not me for that. Not me.
Who's ready to elect
Wow, I'm looking for you.
You know, I am so proud. I am so blessed.
And he walks away like Maxine Waters.
First Latina to represent House District 116.
Okay, for the record, Joaquin Castro just walked away. Even though he's my congressman. He's my congressman. He should ask. He should answer the question. Why can't he answer the
Here at
question?
Rosedale Park to listen to Beto O. But you know, I want to start it out right. For those who don't know, I'm the only woman that serves on the Texas House Defense and Veterans Affairs Committee.
Full disclosure, anybody
Represent the west side of San Antonio there.
brush ice.
But you know what I'm more proud about? I'm proud to be representing the veterans. So everyone who has served in our military, everyone who is currently serving, raise your hand, and ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause. And say thank you. You know, these brave men and women.
See, you serve.
That's a veteran.
Make
Yeah.
America great. But you know what makes America great? Immigrants.
No, draining the swamp does.
Because last time I
There's a lot of
with
smart
my
creatures.
family,
The immigrant.
Legal immigrants do make this country great, but the others don't. Take care of the Americans
He's
first.
supporting a man.
Yeah.
Beto O.
Make America great again.
America's already great because of each and every one of you who work hard day in and day out to make our communities better. And you know, we need to get our tios, our tias, our compadres out to vote.
All
But
it
you know
takes is a
what?
hot dog.
Before we do that, we're going
And
to
some
listen to
tacos.
some great,
Some tacos.
great leaders of our community. Some amazing, amazing men who have done so much for all of us. And I'm going to ask all of you to come a little bit closer.
Look, they can go on the stage right there, but they can't ask a question. They can't answer the question. When there's some Castros in the house, I think I'm communist Cuba.
And proud to introduce one of our speakers today.
Worthless!
You see, 17 years ago, I went
Can't
to
answer
Cuba.
questions.
And 17 years ago, I messed up his filing system. And he gave me a chance. He was a councilman for District 7, became an incredible mayor of San Antonio. And you know what? He went to
I
Washington.
believe that they
DC
have
to work
everything
for
in
the
black and
people of
white and
this
they
country.
still think that he's
And I
incredible.
have a feeling
Yeah.
that great things are only coming ahead for him. Ladies and gentlemen, give it a round of applause to former Secretary Julian Castro.
Yeah, I wanted to put Section 8 everywhere.
That's all it was.
Yep.
And now that
High
they're cutting-
crime and nice
Now
areas.
that they're cutting them.
Are you ready to
No
elect
Section 8.
Beto O'Rourke, the next senator from
Yeah,
Texas?
that's true.
We're getting started, so trying to move up. I mean, we're kind of fill the space.
We are too. I'm
No, we're not part of the space. We're against the
First of all,
space.
with my
Oh, you're
brother.
against
There's already a space there, and there's gonna be another space once it goes in there.
Preemptive
Right.
Joke. He always says that the way to tell us apart is I'm a little
That's a
bit
void.
uglier than he is. I hope y'all can see that that's not true. But I'm also here with my son, but he's young.
He wasn't
Rourke.
expecting. He wasn't expecting what?
We wasn't expecting that.
He's
Oh.
got
There's
this
already a
up on
void
the map before we got here, so he's a little bit shy. But hey,
He's
I wanted to
embarrassed
come
of his
here
father.
today,
Ashamed of him,
because
too.
This is a very special moment.
'Cause he can't
for
answer
all of us
questions.
as we look toward November. This election really is about two different visions for Texas and for our country.
It's like I hear that
One
he
is
is
a vision of hope
Gutierrez
and
from Illinois.
optimism
I cannot-
and
Oh,
opportunity
Luis
for everyone.
Gutierrez.
Making sure that we focus
You know,
on the
Mark
needs of
Levin calls him
Texans.
Luis
And
Gutierrez.
the other
worry about
He's from Puerto
The
Rico.
other is
He's
the
not
big
even
vision that we
No,
just
his
saw
parents
over the
were
last
from
few weeks
Mexico.
on the border.
Luis Gutierrez?
Yeah.
One that is
Well, he's from
callous
Puerto Rico.
and divides people and tries to pick the winners and the losers in terms of opportunity.
And he keeps picking himself.
One that Bethel represents that is broad and looks toward the future, and the other one that is stuck in the past.
It's
A
amazing
few
how
years ago,
tomorrow
after
is
the
the future.
2012 election, there was an analysis done to understand what made the biggest difference in terms
See, they
of
try to get
persuading
everybody out there.
voters
Do
out
they-
there
the
in
camera is
swing
right over
districts
them.
and
Yeah, and
counties.
it makes
And
it
you know
seem
what
like
they
a big
said the
turnout.
difference
Right.
was?
Came full of
Was
high school
personal
todays.
contact with voters. The difference of people talking to potential voters.
How about
So what I want to
listening
come
and
here
answering
today
the
to encourage you to
questions?
do is to use every single day that you can between now and election day to get out there and make those phone calls, knock on those doors, talk to
It's
your
not hard for
friends,
people
send them
that
an
want
email,
to, that don't work.
message them on Facebook, tweet at them. Every single thing that you can do to get more people to understand that Beto O'Rourke has to be the next senator from Texas.
How don't you know
Because
how politicians
we know that we're on a roll this year. In 2018, we know the change is
Right.
in the air. In 2018, we know that people want hope and they want light and they want somebody who's focused on Texas, not on Washington, D.C. or on Iowa.
That would be Cruz.
They want a senator who cares about all Texans. And I can't say enough about Beto, you know, who has visited all 254 counties in Texas. Nobody's done that, but he has.
How do you feel bad saying that about yourself?
You know, the joke's on them because if he gets elected and he takes away their vaping,
That people are everything. But
what
you
are
know
they
what?
going to
He's even
do?
beating Ted in the money race. And he's doing it
By
because he's
Soros,
raising money the right way by the people.
By George
Know
Soros.
that he's going to listen to them and represent them instead of representing special interests in Washington, D.C. So thank you for being here.
He's a lawyer. He works for special
every single day
interests.
to make sure you get more people to go vote in November and we can win. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my better-looking brother and Beto's colleague who represents the 20th Congressional District of Texas, the legacy district of Henry B. Gonzalez that did so many rallies over the years in Rosedale Park, and now represented by Joaquin Castro.
it's interesting. I live in this district and he ain't done crap.
First, I want to say thank
There's
you
only
to
one thing
everybody
you've
for
done.
being here.
Raise
Are you
money.
ready to
No.
send our friend Beto O'Rourke to the United States Senate?
That's the only thing that he's done for this.
There's just one thing standing in our way.
You.
That's Ted Cruz.
He wiped
But I
the
know
floor with
with your
his
hard
brother
work,
years
with
ago.
every email, with every dollar you
Cruz
contribute,
did.
with every phone call you make, every block you walk, Beto O'Rourke is going to beat Ted Cruz in November, and he's going to represent the great state of Texas.
I don't think
Should I
so.
take a shit now or later?
And Beto comes
Well,
from
we don't
great
want to stoop
looks like
down to
San
their level.
Antonio, El Paso. I want to say, Beto, welcome to the west side of San Antonio, a beautiful neighborhood here.
Oh
The place where
boy.
Juliana and I grew up. We brought our dad to the rally here. When I was about 6 years old, I got a black eye hitting myself on the monkey bars over there. This is
Thought it was a monkey bar.
Knock
Knock the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Who just want the best for life, the best for themselves and their kids in life. They don't ask a lot from government, but they ask
You know,
for
you
people
have the cops
who will
right
stand
behind
up
you
for
looking at
them and fight
I see
for
that.
kids' education.
It's videotaped.
Fight for them so that they can afford to have health care, rather than being like Ted Cruz and trying to take health care away from millions of Texans. There are people who value families and don't believe that in a great nation like ours, the government should be separating young children from their families.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
They believe that this is a place where if you work hard, you should be able to support yourself and your family.
And you should
And
be
that's the
worried
kind
about
of
the
person and
Americans
spirit
first.
that we
Yeah.
need in the United States Senate. That's the kind of candidate that we have in Beto O'Rourke. And let me tell you, I follow the races around the country, and I believe that Democrats will take back the House of Representatives in November.
Maxine Waters is going to be the leader.
Yeah, Maxine Waters is going to be the leader.
Sometimes you'll see the pundits or the analysts who sometimes have gotten cynical over the years, and they say a Democrat can't win in Texas, the Republicans are going to hold on to the Senate. I
That's
disagree.
true.
I believe Democrats will take back the United States Senate in November.
Let's bring on Maxine Waters out of here.
There's no candidate out there who has worked harder to win his or her race than our friend Beto O'Rourke.
He's gonna lose.
It gives me a great honor in my neighborhood, in my hometown,
They don't know what they're
to
talking about.
introduce you to my great
They don't
friend,
even know the
my
Bill of
colleague,
Rights.
Representative Beto O'Rourke, serving the Senate.
That guy was him, the one that said, "Come over here," and we just told Beto O'Rourke off. Oh my goodness!
Thank you all for introducing us and taking some time from your phones and out of your day to be with us and to make us feel welcomed here in the heart of the west side of San Antonio, where I am so grateful to be right now. To Representative Arevalo, who is about to be married the 3rd of November, just in time to make it official before we make it official and help Texas lead this country in the right direction. Thank you for inviting us to be here and welcoming everybody out. And to each of you, thank you for making the time to get involved. Especially those of you who may not be supporters right now, who were brought here by a friend, saw something on Facebook or on Instagram, wanted to know who this Beto from El Paso is. Chuco Town. Everyone is welcome. You can't be too Republican. You can't be too Democrat. You can't be too independent. You cannot be too much of a non-voter right now to prevent you from being involved in this race, in the selection, in the decision of our lifetimes. Everything that we care about right now is on the line. All that we hold true for this country, for the generations that follow, will be decided. No pressure, San Antonio. On the 6th of November, our future, our fate, this country, this state, the things that we can do for one another, the aspirational goals that we have, if it's making sure that every
How many
child,
African
every
Americans
man
in
here
this crowd?
can see a doctor or
Thank you.
further medication. If it's ensuring that all of us are well enough because we can see that psychiatrist or psychologist or therapist in the state right now where the largest provider of mental health care services is the county jail system. If we want to be the ones to lead the way on guaranteed high quality universal health care for every single person in this country, we're going to have to get together right now.
We won't have anything if you do that.
It's going to take all of us.
Shit, what makes you think you're going to do something?
Right.
It's going to take a new microphone. And I gotta tell you,
They're the ones that are suffering.
just today,
The older folks.
and we visited San Antonio so many
Some
times.
of them don't even realize.
And every single visit, you have made us feel at home. You
That's
made
the
us
only
feel
way
welcome.
anybody's gonna win
You
is
made
to
us
bring
feel like
healthcare.
we're in the right place. But every single time that I come here, I feel such a fierce pride in this community. At 8 a.m. today, we were at a bar. Now I can justify this. It was to watch the 3rd place game in the World Cup, England versus Belgium. And before the game got started, we thought we would just have a town hall and listen to one another, find out what was on the minds of those who wanted to come out to that small business owned by one of our fellow citizens who's trying to make ends meet, trying to bring people together, sometimes over a soccer game, sometimes over a beer, sometimes over the future of our democracy. And we were introduced by a young veteran from this community named Sebastian, who in his service to this country, when he put his life literally on the line for the United States of America, he lost literally part of himself. And missing his right arm, his right hand, this part of his body, literally having it reconstructed here, wanted to be in San Antonio, one of the world leaders for taking care of those who have borne the battle literally. He shared his story of service He shared his story of reintegration into this community. He shared his story of pride in the United States, in Texas, and in San Antonio. We heard it from the others who were there. Later, we went to another small business in this community, Casa Azul, owned by two extraordinary women who just got married 3 years ago.
You know, and that's the party that wants to ban fat food. You know, I should ask one of them, why would you vote for a party that bans salt, sugary drinks, plastic straws, and you're consuming it yourself?
And one of them, thanks to everyone here, thanks to the leadership of then Mayor Joaquin Castro, one of them was a pre-kindergarten teacher in a community that ensures that everyone has
No wonder why you
succeed.
flush that tax down our throats.
And that beautiful couple had invested their savings and their opportunity and their chance in life in this community and in one another. And we have a beautiful town hall there.
Yeah, we want our taxation reform.
That the words written above the steps on the Supreme Court, equal justice under law, apply to everyone, and that you all,
including Hillary Clinton,
all of us, every single one of us,
including Peter Strzok, including Lisa Page.
Too gay, you cannot be too intellectual, you cannot be too transgender. To be able to fully participate in economic, in civic, in democratic life here in Texas, here in the United States of America. We're standing up for everybody, showing up for everybody. And I think my new friend Gideon in the back, who asked one of the best questions of the day, and I love it. And this is the spirit of San Antonio and of Texas.
Tolerant they are.
Right now, we are holding one another accountable. In a minute, I'm going to turn the microphone over to you, and I want to be able to answer your questions. I want to make sure that I'm responsive to the issues that are most important to you. I have no hope of effectively representing this community of fair California. The other 253 counties in Texas, if I have not shown up first.
Oh, Russia's paying us. The Kremlin's paying us. Oh, come on.
Responded to your
sarcastic
criticism. Lay it on me. I'm here. That's what I'm here.
I know Mikhail Gorbachev.
This moment in our country is too important for any of us to sit it out on the sidelines. Every single one of us needs to be in this game, needs to be here right now, needs to make the commitment for.
How you doing, Vladimir?
Brag on my friend, my classmate, my colleague, Joaquin Castro. There is no more fierce advocate for rule of law, for the future of this country, 242 years and going, than our representative on the House Intelligence Committee, a day after we learned that 12 Russians, 12 operatives from that country, that enemy of the United States,
hacked into the DNC server.
By the Mueller investigation, as they sought to
a nothing burger
to thwart the will of the people at the ballot box. 500,000
the noose around his neck, and these people still believe that shit.
By a foreign power.
I asked him.
And if your president doesn't show up to defend your interests and the integrity of the ballot that you cast, I want to tell you this, your Congressman Joaquin Castro will. He is going to ensure that there's accountability, that there is justice.
Yeah, it starts by voter ID laws.
And as high up as they need. So super proud to serve with this guy in the Congress.
Starts by passing voter ID laws.
And just as a side note, I'm not going to share any names or make any predictions. Would it not be the most badass thing in the world if it was one of our fellow Texans, someone from San Antonio, running for and winning the presidency and in the White House?
You'll lose like Mondale. Lloyd Benson lost. He was from Texas. He ran for vice president.
You'll have to indulge me on this one. I got to spend some
Lloyd
time
Benson.
with one of our great public servants today. Roberto, sometimes known as Beto, my tocayo, Trevino, who is the city council rep for District 1. And he wanted to show off the new crosswalk at, is it Evergreen in Maine? The Pride Crosswalk, which he helped to lead the way in raising the funds.
We want our $20,000 back.
Beautiful Pride medals at $15 a pop and raising, I think, over $10,000 in the process.
They can't raise a
And me
penny for the
being
kids
the
of San
Beatles
Antonio.
geek
Right.
that I am,
Or
we tried to
veterans.
reenact Abbey Road on that crosswalk. I, perfectly dressed as George Harrison, was in the back. Just in front of me was Cynthia Cano, the spitting image of Paul McCartney. In front of her was Chris Evans as Ringo, and then the council member was John Lennon, the pride of place, right? And making that walk across the crosswalk. If you have not seen the picture yet, it's on
I've had enough
Instagram.
bullshit.
Please see it, share it. It is part of the pride that we have in one another and that we have in San Antonio. The pride that I saw on the face of one of your state reps, Diego Bernal, who I spent part of the day with as well in West Central San Antonio. Having crushed ice.
I'm already getting accused of being paid to be in an
I came here on my own free will.
Well, you know what?
This is the way to do it.
I asked Joaquin that question. Walked away like Maxine Waters.
Of course.
He doesn't have the answers, and this other lady starts
by
interrupting.
Soros. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's all funded by Soros.
And you know, this lady goes, "You're too stupid to look it up. Show me a source. Where in the United States code?" And she was like, "Oh,
Let me lay this out.
and I'm like, she's on the table. I'll put it on Facebook and YouTube. I gotta put my YouTube channel up because Facebook might be blocking
The
us.
work and the value provided to make sure that we get better working conditions and better wages, better training, and the apprenticeships that will give people the skills to command a true living wage in their life. Until we get behind $15 an hour minimum wage.
Not gonna happen.
America.
Not gonna happen.
For one another and grows a record low in income inequality. We're not doing right by our fellow Texans, by the people here in San Antonio. Listen, I'm all for you if you want to work your heart out, but I want you to just have to work
No, you're not.
one job so that at the end of the day, you can read to your daughter and get her ready for the next day of school in kindergarten. I want to make sure that you are there for your family. I want to make sure that if you want to rock out in a rock band or a conjunto group, if you want to play country music, if you have something to share from deep inside that's going to make our lives better, for your opportunity to express yourself, that you have the resources to be able to do that. I want to make sure that Texas, and they won't see it from us, leads the way, making sure that everyone looking for work,
More
finds a
government,
job and provides
smaller
purpose,
private
function,
sector
and dignity in their
makes
lives, a living wage,
Beto
a job
happy.
that makes sense and gives
Louder.
purpose, and make sure that Texas
Have you seen that Mark Levin video with the liberal caller from Chevy Chase, Maryland? Oh, you should listen to it. It is hilarious. Well, which bureaucracy do you work for? I'd rather not say. Oh, come on. The Department of Energy. How did I know you were a bureaucrat?
So
you're running for San Antonio City Council?
District 7.
I hope so, man. I live in Medina County. It still affects me. I work
Right.
in Barra County. I come do business in Barra County.
Right.
It's just the stuff they do. It just
Oh yeah, like that stupid smoking. That's smoking ordinance changed from 18 to 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but they did it anyway at the city level. They're just going to get sued in a
that
moment.
other thing that they're trying to do.
Sick pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna mess up a lot of stuff
Yeah,
too.
no, Paxton's already warned him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Back off,
Yep.
or he's going to be suing.
And money
Actually need to go after them for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All these closed door meetings they have.
We need to start writing them. We need to start sending them letters each and every week. Exactly. But we also need to do the footwork and type that in and send it to them. Send them letters every week.
Public service meeting that they had. Public safety meeting, sorry.
Oh, about the gun thing, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't put in the transcript, so it's not online, it's not accessible to the
No video, no closed captioning, which is required per Title II of the ADA. They say they're equitable. I call that baloney.
Brockhouse. You might run for mayor. Brockhouse.
But Brockhouse endorsed a Democrat. He endorsed Roland Gutierrez for Urestis seat.
I mean, I've heard him talk on the radio and stuff, and he seems pretty cool.
Yeah, he seems
two-faced because he was all for defending the monument.
right, and then he changed it because of one lady. Yes.
Yeah, but as soon as they voted for it, he was all for it. and there was only one other person that was against it.
Clayton Perry.
Yeah, Perry is the one that was the only one that voted against it. Yeah.
I like
If
Councilman
he went for
Perry.
mayor, if he went for mayor, I'd vote for him.
You know, even if Buck,
Listen to his positions.
right,
If it was Brockhouse in Nuremberg, you probably go for Brockhouse.
right. If it's
He's
Buckhouse
kind of
versus
more on our
Nuremberg,
side than the other
right,
one.
exactly, exactly.
Education of every child, the betterment of every family in San Antonio. We also have the backs of the public school teachers and nurses and librarians and therapists and vice principals and principals. People doing heroic work right now.
Oh, he's whiter than us.
Regardless of party or geography, wherever you live.
I mean, I'm
wherever
darker
you live,
complected
or
than
last
him.
time,
I'm
that
Scottish
you have a
American.
champion in the House in Joaquin, in the Senate in Beto that's going to ensure that Betsy DeVos does not take your tax dollars, turn them into a voucher, send them to a private school.
School choice rocks.
School choice. Public school teachers who have
Yeah, well, if, you know, I don't want some bureaucrat telling me I gotta go take my kid to a dump school.
It makes the schools better.
Right,
School choice, because you're
competition.
going to be competing for
Right,
that student, those students.
exactly, exactly.
You can get your kids there.
I'm a product of school choice. I live next door to MacArthur High School. I went to Rosedale because they had a better program.
Even in this community, where we are losing 20 veterans a day, every single day, by their own hand. The majority of those veterans will not have been able or were unwilling for whatever reason
That's when I'll send
to
my
go
kids
into a
to
VA,
Right.
see a therapist or a provider who will
I agree with
literally
Texas
make the
having all
life
these
or
school
death
districts.
difference.
Oh yeah.
So the rich district gets all the fancy stuff. You might have a poor kid that's very smart, but he doesn't get the same education as a rich kid would get. But
Well, see, one of my platforms was to consolidate all these different independent school districts and to make just one like Austin has, Houston has, and San Marcos. Well, it meant so with some backlash. Some people didn't agree on that.
See, the reason it works in Austin and in San Marcos is because, believe it or not, San Antonio is
It's going to open up mental health care.
Well, in Houston.
Hundreds, thousands.
See, Houston has Houston ISD, A-Leaf ISD, Aldine ISD, and Springs not really Houston proper anyway. So you have three
districts in San Antonio or Northeast
and Northside.
Northside.
Northside being one, the first one. Northeast being the second.
And I went to Northside schools.
Will ensure the independence and integrity of the Bob Mueller investigation.
A nothing burger! Where's the collusion? Where's the fruit? Where's the beef? Waste of money.
Whether that's someone sitting on one of the federal benches in Texas, whether it's someone who seeks to
Tell Mueller to hurry the hell up.
important court in the land, it's someone who's going to make decisions in the best interest of everyone's going
Well, you know who's behind that? Michelle Obama with their healthy food initiative.
in the country.
She's got restaurants and stuff. There's a terrorist outfit out there called the Consumers for Science and Public Interest. They want to take away your salt and your fatty content in your food, the stuff that makes the food taste good. Yeah. But Michelle Obama and her children, she eats filet mignon, steak, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, exactly.
Where since 2011, we have closed down, allowed to be closed, half of the family planning clinics, making it that much harder for a woman to get a cervical cancer screening or family planning help, or just to see
To murder innocent children, you mean?
Boy, that's a poor time. Something to
Yeah.
pick there. He said cervical cancer. That's
If you want to save those lives and make sure that we follow
Yeah, we know Vladimir. Greetings from Russia. I'm Boris. Go, Ted Cruz! Does that mean Maxine Waters gets arrested?
Where we can discriminate for hiring, for firing solely based on your sexual orientation. Yes, that is true in 2018 in Texas. In this state.
What about the red hen?
3,000 children being in the foster care system who need a strong, loving home. In this state, you can still be too gay under the guise of religious freedom to be able to adopt one of those children. And that kind of example has made it all the way up to Congress. The Holt Amendment that was adopted on party line votes this last week would nationalize, federalize the mistake that Texas has made. We need a Supreme Court justice who makes sure that equality extends to all of us, and that you're not too gay to be treated equally.
We need Justice Kavanaugh. When are we locking Maxine Waters up? When are we locking Maxine Waters up?
And I know that if I don't talk about these two issues, the very youngest among us right now will bring them up. They'll ask, Joaquin, Beto, what are you guys going to do to make sure that this plant does not cook?
Absolutely nothing.
After which the train is off the tracks, we don't get it back for the generations that follow.
If he hasn't done it, he ain't going to do it. Yeah.
Those 58 inches of rain on southeast Texas blows away Rockport and Port Aransas.
That's from chemtrails.
Orange, Houston, the landfall record for North America set just last year.
For example.
May not have caused that particular storm, but it will ensure, unless we get a hold on this, that there are more Harveys that dump more rain, that jeopardize the lives of our homes and the ability for people to live in southeast Texas after 5 years of drought in the north in the panhandle.
Hey, newsflash, the earth is round, not flat. Greetings from Russia.
So now politicians can control the weather.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity.
God is laughing right now at you.
Of climate change better than anyone. We also have
Gorball warming.
opportunity to lead than any other state in the union. Texas today, #1 in the nation in the generation of wind power. Texas tomorrow will be #1 in the nation in the generation of solar power.
Brainwash. We don't watch CNN.
People want to talk about solar power so damn much.
Yeah.
What the hell happens on cloudy days?
Right. It doesn't run.
It doesn't run.
Come to these town halls and they say,
It's like the government.
with everything
They don't
that
show
I've
up for
got,
work.
Yeah.
the thoughts and the prayers have been
Remember the time when the Democrats left Texas and they went to like Oklahoma? Because they threw a pitch fit. Yeah.
I want to make sure
Even though we paid them.
every single person in this state and in this country that buys a firearm goes through a background check without exception.
Read the Constitution!
Weapons of war. Designed, engineered, sold to, purchased by United
They already
States
do
military
background
for the
checks.
sole purpose
Yeah.
of killing people as effectively, as efficiently, and as great a number as possible. An AR-15. Beautiful. High impact, high velocity.
I love AR-15s.
You will bleed out before a doctor can save your life, because that is exactly what it is.
You will bleed out under socialized medicine,
Not in this community, not on our streets.
like in Canada. Unconstitutional. Heller versus DC.
Let me conclude with this. Again, I want to brag on your congressman. When we found out as a country that one man, Donald Trump,
Trump.
He's the one who made the decision that 100%
Hillary Clinton, wife of a rapist.
the deadliest, the most violent places on the face of the earth, bar none. Imagine what would compel you to pick up your 4-year-old
Right.
and travel 2,000 miles to the front door the United States at the Texas-Mexico border.
Do you have front doors to your house?
The desert, the heat.
Are they locked?
Human misery. And to arrive here where you thought you would find
Of course
safety
not.
and refuge and asylum.
They don't know
as
reason for
refugees
anything.
have done before now. Instead, you find that you are arrested, that you're treated like a common criminal, that your child is taken from you and sent to
Oh my God.
Legally!
Legally!
The city known as Tornillo, a 10-camp built days before one of the first people on the scene, bar none, to actually get into that tent camp and actually talk to those kids and to find out how they were doing, to find out where their parents were, and most importantly, and this is more important than anything I saw.
Obama had the
to
best
say that I
Yeah.
with you, and I know that you're here.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Of course not, he does.
United with your parents. That was Joaquin Castro. Go to
Let me ask you a question. If somebody robs a bank and they have children, do they separate them when they go to trial? Of course they do.
we know what the president did was inhumane. We know it was cruel. We know that the pressure that all of us brought to bear, at least momentarily,
Clinton for prison.
caused the administration to stop taking kids from parents. It's that same pressure that we need to bring to bear to ensure that
Well, they brought them illegally.
reuniting the
Illegally.
who are waiting to see
Right.
mom and dad today. I want to make sure that we in Texas lead on that. And in the most diverse state in the country, in the most diverse country on the face of the planet.
America first.
Example of that, I want to make sure that we don't apologize for who we are. Take this as a son of the border, someone who grew up in El Paso constantly as a kid, defending who I was, where I was from, where we are. The world saying it's really not that bad. Now realizing that the appropriate thing for me to have said about El Paso, about our part of the border, is it's fucking amazing. This is the most beautiful.
What kind of amazing?
What kind of amazing?
What kind of amazing?
We couldn't hear you. Cusses in front of children. Is that a family value?
I think some of the people there or the son of their birth, El Paso, Texas, a city of immigrants, is one of the safest cities in the United States of America.
Yeah, burglary. What about your DWI?
And to have a president who describes immigrants and asylum seekers and refugees as animals, as an infestation.
MS-13 is animals. They are animals. MS-13 is animals. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. It's no longer about protecting dreamers from deportation. It's making dreamers U.S. citizens today.
Yeah, so they can vote for you. That's all you care about.
They kill your babies.
Yeah.
In the process, it's making sure
Take off your front door.
instead of wall,
He should take down his front door.
Texas,
Just let everyone in, raid his fridge.
in our own image.
Lie on the
Reflect
sofa.
our strength, our
What's his
success,
address?
And the fact that
So you want the Mexican mafia here?
we're treating every
Come legally.
dignity and respect. The
MS-13
dignity and respect
are
that is
animals.
MS-13 are animals. They kill people.
These are animals.
My ancestors came here legally.
all the reasons. Dignity first. For all the reasons that all of us came out.
Yeah, real classy of you. Flick us off. Show some class. We're number one, USA.
Face of the planet to live in Texas, to be able to decide the future of this country, but it's not a future that will decide itself. It will go in the right direction without our help.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What about my reparations? Yeah.
3.5 months from November.
Yeah.
Have to do everything.
Look at their
within our
children
power. We
here.
have to build up
Yeah.
Children
the
here.
grassroots
Yeah.
fundraising
And they have to use
success.
profanity.
Use everything.
And then they have to
Corporations you raise.
flick people off. Indict Maxine Waters. Yeah, real smart. Real smart. Yeah.
divided,
Why don't you grow
polarized,
up, old man?
tribal
Yeah.
time.
Right in front of kids.
Take the time to not those who agree with us on every issue, not those who draw the same conclusion on the most contentious problems, but especially those who don't see things eye to eye. If you're a Democrat, that means that Republican mother-in-law of yours. Listen to her at dinner this Sunday.
Yeah, and don't flick her off either.
That hardcore Democrat whose Facebook feed you have muted.
Show some manners.
Don't hear any more of that. It means signing up for this campaign,
Right.
to knock on doors, to make phone calls, to text your fellow Texans, and to listen to them, and invite them in to the election of our lifetime. Are you ready?
That's
right. Here's the way to do it. If you will take
At least our president's working with North Korea to make it a safer place.
If you can take out your cell phone and and it'll take no more than 30 seconds, I promise. If you will text my first name, it's Beto.
It's Robert. Robert Francis O'Rourke. Robert Francis O'Rourke.
Your name is Robert. Are you ashamed of your name?
75. I will sign you up.
Si habla español, Robert. Robert. Español, por favor. Beto. Beto, Bato. Bato, Beto. Español, por favor. We need you. We need it in Spanish. We don't speak no Spanish. Because it's a Beto.
Thank you very much. For anyone who would like to stay around, who would like to ask a question or share what's on your mind, Cynthia Cano, who's right here, stage right, has a microphone.
Hola español, Beto. I have a question. I have a question. We have questions.
Beto, dinos algo en español.
Free speech. Right here, Beto. I have a question.
Beto, háblanos en español.
Ya.
No entiendo.
En español, por favor.
Beto.
Beto, español, por favor.
Dijiste. No te entiendo. Háblame. Platícame en español, Beto, por favor. No te entiendo. Hey,
Robert. Talking Spanish. Talking French too. Talking French too.
Roberto, no te entiendo.
Gabby, thank you for being
What did you say?
Go get the mic if we have a question.
And let me say this.
We want the mic. Hola español, Roberto.
To the protesters who are out there, you are welcome.
Then we could ask questions.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. I want to ask him a question.
Gabby, who's already leading her fellow students, says how can young people lead the way in these elections that will decide their futures more than they will decide anyone else's? They're going to have to live with the decisions that we make in 2018 and 2019 and 2020. The good news, Gabby, is, and we're going to hold on that, Michael, I'll turn it over to you in just a second. The good news is that students are not waiting to be led. Thanks to Gabby and people like Gabby, you are getting after it, you're getting the work done. You are inspiring me in a way that I have not seen young people do, perhaps since the 1950s and the 1960s, when it was the young people who got on those Greyhound buses, the Freedom Riders throughout the South, the young people sitting at the lunch counters, the young people who got from the back of the bus to the front of the bus, the young people who crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the young people who forced the change that we need to see in this country. And so what you're saying, Gabby, is that change needs to be led, not just in the marches, as important as they are, marching, but they also have to be led at the ballot box. We've got to make sure that every person who
My mother
is registered.
Well,
You
you let me
can't
speak.
do it at school.
My
Make sure
mother
that you
told my
pass that
grandmother
after
not to
school.
speak
Do we have
Spanish.
some
You know why?
deputy voter
I
registrars
don't know
here?
how to
We
speak
have some
Spanish.
folks who are
You know why?
deputized to register
But let me
people
tell
in
you
the
where he
front,
might
in
be
the
coming
back.
from.
If you are
When I
not
was
yet
growing up in
registered, they
school,
are
I got
here
expelled
to help
3
you to do that.
times
Gabby,
because I
thanks for the
spoke
great question.
Spanish.
Thanks for the
65. 65. I went to Brentwood Elementary, I went to Kennedy, and that doesn't matter. I got expelled. I'm sorry, but I had a different experience. And sometimes our experiences cause our families to treat I understand everything that people tell me in Spanish, but I cannot say it. But you're threatening him. I'm sorry. I know why. I'm just telling you.
You would take me, so he won't feel threatened.
You're making the case that this nomination and the vote that will take place in the Senate will not just affect those who are here today in this year or the next. It is literally going to affect the generations that follow for decades to come. Whether it is on a woman's right to choose, we thought this was decided in this country 45 years ago in 1973, but President Trump has nominated somebody who could be the deciding vote to overturn Roe versus Wade. As I mentioned earlier, in a state that does not really respect the voting rights of every single one of us, we have a potential justice who has voted for, who has ruled in favor of restrictive voting legislation that suppresses the votes of some to the benefit of others. We have a nominee who does not believe in net neutrality, your ability to receive information in a neutral way, to start your business online, to share your political platform online. He wants a pay-to-play system, and at a time that corporations are increasingly deciding the issues in the halls of Congress and at the ballot box. You have someone who believes that corporations are people, that their money is
They are
people.
people.
They can spend unlimited amounts of money, so we've got to stop
It's free speech.
this nomination. We've got to have a 51st vote
And yet
in the
these people
Senate
say
that will stop
panhandling
nominations like this one
speech.
going forward. So
You
you've got
can't have it, cake and eat it too. That's a good question to ask.
You got it. Thank
Yeah,
you,
it's a
sir,
very
for
good
coming
question.
over. We appreciate it.
Ya nada más te quiero preguntar, ¿cómo nos puedes ayudar aquí en la ciudad de San Antonio con tocante al crimen? Porque fíjate, el jefe de la policía, Jiménez, acaba de sueltar como a 12 o 17 ilegales. Nunca los investigó, nada más los soltó. No sabemos si vienen los MS-13 o viene el Salvatrucha, viene la mafia de la casa. Entonces, ¿cómo vamos a hacer?
Is that a Beto?
Si nos puedes ayudar en
Is that a Beto supporter saying that?
El jefe de la policía no nos ayuda en nada, la mera verdad. Con soltar a esos ilegales, ¿cómo sabemos si nos van a venir a hacer mal a nosotros? Ahora, yo le digo, si que se sienta mal usted, yo tengo mi arma porque me siento
Está bien,
mal,
está bien.
tengo miedo, que hay mucho crimen aquí en San Antonio.
Señor, gracias por estar aquí. Gracias por su pregunta. And I'm going to repeat this in English as well. Pero la pregunta fue, ¿cómo podemos asegurar nuestras comunidades, nuestras ciudades? Nací y crecí en El Paso, una comunidad con Ciudad Juárez binacional. Y El Paso en este momento es la comunidad, es la ciudad más segura en el estado de Texas, más segura en los Estados Unidos. Y también al mismo tiempo somos una comunidad de migrantes de cada parte del mundo, incluyendo de México y de Guatemala y El Salvador y Honduras. Y la gente que está en nuestra comunidad, cuando tratamos cada persona con respeto y dignidad, con eso podemos asegurar nuestras comunidades. La policía dice eso, the sheriff del condado del Paso también dice eso. Cuando gente en la comunidad inmigrantes tienen miedo de las autoridades, no van a reportar el crimen, no van a servir como testigos en el corte.
San Antonio, no el Paso.
Necesitamos tratar gente con respeto, y con respeto vamos a tener justicia, vamos a tener paz, vamos a tener seguridad en nuestras comunidades. The question is, how are we going to keep communities like San Antonio, like El Paso, like those that we live in Texas, safe? How are we at a time that the president warns us that gangs are coming from Central America to take our lives and to get our kids. What are we to do about this? My response is that I live in a city of immigrants. A quarter of those that I represent in Congress were born somewhere else. And it's not in spite of their presence, it's because of their presence that we're one of, if not the safest cities in Texas and the United States of America today. And what our chief of police will tell you, what our county sheriff will tell you, what the officers and sheriff's deputies who serve under them, and who better to listen to than those who actually enforce the law. What they will tell you is that when we treat people with respect and dignity, they are more likely to report crime, to serve as witnesses, to testify in the trials that will ensure greater safety and justice and accountability in our community. We do not need the laws. We don't need the National Guard on the border.
Yeah, we do.
What we need to do is treat one another like human beings. And it does not mean that there are not threats at the border, that there are not threats in our community. I just choose to follow the lead of law enforcement. I choose to follow those communities like El Paso that have helped to figure it out in large part by being good and doing good by one another. That's my answer to your question. Thank you for the question.
To be able to ask questions. My question is very much about the detail. And specifically, we're all kind of facing the same thing.
Right.
Everything starts at home. And then you build out to your neighborhood. And then you build out to your community. So if we're asked to represent you and we want them to vote, the general public, what have you found to be effective in communicating your ideals and your values to people who are closed off? Because I think a lot of people would volunteer and would do it if they felt like they had at least a chance to make a difference. But if you are in a place where you know the red, they're probably not going to listen to you. And so how do you
That's a
try
two-way
to
street.
persuade? Do you try to
It's a two-way
just
street.
listen to me and knowing that maybe it's not really worth their time? So how is I, regular citizen, going to be the most effective in helping you? And then you help all of us.
Thank you for the question. I think this is the power of the moment, and what distinguishes the campaign that all of us have built. Literally showing up is so powerful. I've gone to places that are so reliably red. King County, which voted for Donald Trump 96% in the last election. I think no one wants to hear from a guy who happens to be a Democrat, a guy who's running against the incumbent who happens to be a Republican. And what I have found is that before we are Republican or Democrat, we're just humans. We're willing to listen to one another, and when we show the respect and the common courtesy of just showing up and listening to one another and being there for one another, I don't know, maybe those folks in King County aren't going to vote for me because I showed up there, but they know that we have been there. They know that I have listened. They know that I've heard the issues that are most important to them, and I'm going to carry them with me, regardless of how they vote, into the Senate, and make sure that regardless of how Republican they are, they have
a question for Beto. I don't know if you're the mic guy.
And represent them. When you take the time to knock on someone's door, it doesn't matter how Republican your neighborhood, when they open that door and they see you, and they're just going to be blown away that someone would have taken the time on this warm summer day to get outdoors, to meet a complete stranger, to have a conversation, which, folks, this isn't always for the faint of heart. It can be awkward, it can be uneasy sometimes, but it is never less than one of the most powerful things that happens to you in the course of the day. That TV ad that we could run with the money that you're donating, you'll forget it tomorrow. That slick mailer that comes into your mailbox, you might throw it away before you ever read it, but that knock on your door, I guarantee you, in a time where it is so rare to have these unguarded conversations, to meet complete strangers, certainly at your door, that is more powerful than anything. And when you say to that person, here's who I am, and here's why this is the most important election of my lifetime. Now you tell me what's on your mind and what your expectations are. What I think you and that person are going to find is that there is far more that unites us right now as Americans than divides us based on party or any other small difference. So don't let the fear, do not let the fear right now stand in the way of our greatness. I'll tell you this, Harry Truman, one of the greatest unsung presidents of this country, said this: this country, going back 242 years, was not founded on fear. She was founded on courage, on imagination, on an unstoppable determination to do the job at hand. That's us, that's the people of Texas. We are more than a match for the pettiness, the fear, the pushing, the paranoia, and the anxiety. We are the big, confident, bold, strong, big-hearted people, and that's who you are when you're knocking on that door. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. I have a question about the Muslim travel ban, and I wanted to know what your opinion was on that and how we could further prevent that discrimination.
Texas is a what
Thank
state?
you for the question. I just read an account that somebody wrote about their mother being in turn, let's call it what it is, imprisoned in 1942 in the desert because she happened to be Japanese American, U.S. citizen, as were her parents, but in jail for the remainder of World War II, solely based on their ethnicity. Now that is a moment of shame, something that stains the conscience and the memory
That's
of
what
this country.
FDR did.
Another moment, 1949, 913 Jewish refugees, children, women, and men who left Hamburg, Germany, sailing for Cuba initially, rejected at the port of Havana, then turned to Florida to try to come here to the United States, the Statue of Liberty, the land of refugees and immigrants and asylum seekers, and one person, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and by extension, this country, turns that ship back to Europe, where 254 of her passengers would be slaughtered during the Holocaust, including kids who were on that ship. The year now is not 1942, it's not 1939, it is 2018. And blame the decisions on one person, Donald Trump. But now that they have been made, they are ours. They are America's decisions. And until we change them, they stay with us and they will follow us for each.
I'm waiting for the mic. I don't know if they'll let me on.
We've got to stop
I want to ask you about that Russia.
We've got to start accepting those asylum seekers who have nowhere else to go. We've got to stop this ridiculous proposition that we will reject all people of one faith from the shores of the country.
One faith? Where?
We've got to live up to the best traditions, the best inspiration that we provided to the rest of the planet. Listen, we're clearly imperfect as a people and as a country, but given the alternatives, we are still the best thing going. Let's start living like that right now. So no Muslim ban, no wall, no rejecting asylum.
How about no front door? No front door.
That's in us right now. Thank you for the question.
No front door. Let's chat. No front door.
I'll just miss out 7,000%.
Yeah.
On average, if you have an autistic child, it will cost you about $4 million. It's probably an inherited disease. It's not a threat. The EPA...
And I'll repeat the question if you weren't able to hear this. Please continue.
The EPA is now allowing chlorpyrifos. You're consuming it. It's a known neurological toxin. You can't get rid of it. I think you can do something like wash your corn and vegetables maybe 3 to 4 times in some sort of chlorination, water or something. That basically, you're consuming it. You need to think about that in your pregnancy. What are you going to do about it?
The question is about the EPA, about facts, about science, about toxins that are in our food, toxins that could be connected to conditions that are rising in their prevalence and in their reporting in America, conditions like autism.
What about
and the question is, what are you going to do about it? And I think it has to begin, I hope you would agree, with the facts and the science. When we nominate and confirm people to head agencies who are opposed to the mission of the agencies that they serve in, when we have people who don't believe in science or facts to the point that 300 years after the Enlightenment, you have people in the streets marching for science. Who would have thought in 2018 we would have people doing that? But thank God that people are willing to do that. Thank God people are willing to come to town hall meetings like these and ask questions like this one to make sure that at a time of unprecedented corporate power, the concentration of wealth and power and privilege in this country right now, we have not seen in the lifetimes of anybody here. We haven't seen since the late 19th century in the last Gilded Age, and it can have some very toxic and some very dangerous outcomes. I want to make sure that we have members of Congress who are not bought and paid for, who are not corrupted, who are not compromised, who do not take money from these corporations so that they always serve and overserve people and not corporations. So, to your specific question and the facts that you laid out, simply I want to make sure before we leave, I get your contact information. I follow up on what you've given me. Last thing on this question very quickly. If you have the chance, read the history of the opioid crisis in this country. It is absolutely breathtaking. When you look at the pharmaceutical corporations who knowingly marketed something that was addictive and told us it was not addictive, who lied to members of Congress, lied under oath, and got off with a slap on the wrist. In the same country that punishes low-level street dealers with prison time disproportionately brown and black to the point that we have the largest prison population on the face of the planet. When people by the tens of thousands are dying of opioid addiction, you know where the power is in this country, and you know what has to change going forward. So I promise you I'll follow up directly with you, but I know that we have this larger problem of corporate control in the U.S. right now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, far right, all the way far right. We have time for 2 more questions. I know there's lots of questions, but I only have time for 2 more.
I'm privileged to get one of those questions. I firsthand know about what's going on the border. Do you believe in the rule of law?
Absolutely.
Do you also know what ethics stands for?
Yes.
And I have to disagree with your statistics as far as no crime in El Paso. I have been there. I have served. I was the officer in charge from Corpus all the way to El Paso. And what you're saying is not true. Now, another thing. You give too much credit to the Castros over here. Why do they tie our hands when we're... Come on, guys.
Hey, we were all quiet for everybody.
Why do we give them a lot of credit when they're tying their hands when we're doing the catching? And it's sad that in my backyard in the United States, I have to worry more about people killing me than serving in Iraq or serving in Afghanistan. We are in my backyard. We are in the United States. We fight people. We've had to fight like you wouldn't believe it. And shut up!
Guys, let's be respectful, please.
And the law has been tied in our hands with a catch and release, which would be the best thing that we could do, catch and release in their life. But nothing has been done because there's separation of children, like you say, and I respect it. But I also believe that catch and release, to send them back where they came from, not on this side, because it is very expensive. And I know that people have a heart. We have a heart for children. I have a heart for our American children. What are you going to do to help the American children before you get anywhere? Look at the face. Look at me, and when you're saying that, man, because it could be one of your kids.
Okay, I got the question, and listen.
American children?
Listen.
You didn't hear the question.
What I think perhaps we may or may not be able to agree on, but what I think is happening is that we're trying to solve these problems at the U.S.-Mexico border. We're going to build a wall. We're going to send the National Guard. We already have 20,000 Border Patrol agents. We're already spending $20 billion a year on U.S.-Mexico border security. There have been precisely 0 terrorist attacks, terrorist plots connected to the U.S.-Mexico border. Just in case, we have 600 miles of wall already. We have aerostat links. We have the El Paso Intelligence Center, EPIC in El Paso. We have some very fine public servants in federal and in local law enforcement who are helping to keep us safe. But
including ICE.
As proud of people as we are to be Americans, and as we know how desirable this country is, no one wants to leave their hometown, their family, their culture, their community, their country, unless they feel that there is no other choice. So maybe perhaps we could agree that instead of trying to solve this at the border, instead of trying to solve this here in San Antonio, what if we work with the people in Guatemala, in Honduras, in El Salvador to help address the that's the United States, but you represent 25% of the market for illegal drugs in the world. When you, the United States, this happened in all of our names, I don't care who made the decision, it was the U.S., got involved in the civil wars in Nicaragua, got involved in the civil wars in got involved militarily in every country in Central America.
Eric Holder, Fast and Furious. Eric Holder did it, Fast and Furious. Look it up. Eric Holder, Fast and Furious.
It's not all on us, and we should also have the humility to understand that we can't fix everyone else's problems for them, but we can understand that it's not on the border, and it's not necessarily here in our communities, but it's at the place of origin. Can you believe that this country, given the largest humanitarian disaster since World War II, which is occurring in another part of the planet, in Syria, has accepted a grand total of 11 refugees from Syria right now? The richest, the most powerful place on the planet can step up and do more around the world, and it doesn't have to just be through the United States military. We can find constructive, dramatic, peaceful ways to help people so they don't have to leave their country and come to ours. That's one of the things that I think we can work on. Thank you for asking the question. Appreciate it.
Right there, this is our last question.
Okay, and then we're going to hang out for a little bit for anyone who'd like to come by and say hello. Yes, sir.
Beto, I have a question for you. I do not own a gun. I don't believe in owning guns. I know that Americans have the right to own guns. A while ago, I had a spirited conversation with my friends on the other side. And in the conversation that I had with them, they told me that you're going to take their guns away. Could you please address the concerns?
Yeah, you said it. You said it.
We do not want to take anyone's guns away.
What?
We want to make sure that every person who buys a firearm goes through a background check. If you are going to be a danger to someone in your life, if you're going to be a danger to yourself, I want to make sure that we know that.
Bill of Rights.
And you're right. You're right. You don't have to yell at me. I'll answer your question. You're right. I'm an original co-sponsor on the assault weapons ban because I believe that weapons of war should stay on the ballot board to not come here. But let me be clear.
Knives or assault weapons?
And listen, reasonable people can disagree on this issue, and I respect you, and I've got good friends who vehemently disagree with the position that I've taken, but we can still be decent. We can still be civil with one another. But to your question, if you have an AR-15 right now, and you bought it lawfully, and you're using it responsibly, keep it. Continue to use it safely. I don't want anyone to take that away from you. So here's the thing. The conversation that we're able to have right now, and we're able to do for the most part very civilly, the United States Congress, in the 6 years that I have been there, purported to be the world's greatest deliberative body and the greatest democracy on the planet, has had precisely 0 conversations on this very subject. I want to listen to my colleagues who share your point of view. I want to learn from them. I may discover that I'm going to change my point of view, or it's going to become better informed, or I'll come to a different conclusion. But if we don't even have the courage to have that debate and that discussion the way that we're having here, nothing will change, and we will continue to lose 30,000 of our fellow Americans every single year, and that to me is unconscionable. We can no longer sit idly by. Our silence can no longer be purchased. Thank you for the question. Ms. Connor, is that it? Okay, thank you all for coming out. I'm going to hang out for a little bit. You want to come back. Very grateful. Thank you, San Antonio.
Hey, you want to give this white lady with the blonde hair a history on Cesar Chavez? Where? This one right here. She said, "Si te fuera."
What you wanted to ask her?
I wanted to ask her, if Cesar Chavez is so great, how come we don't have socialism yet?
Oh,
That one right there, and
Yeah, but the thing is, they're all confused because Cesar Chavez was against the illegals.
yeah,
He wasn't for them.
yeah,
He used to send guys into the fields to beat them up.
right,
Because they wouldn't sign up for
right,
the union.
right, right. So she mentioned his name, and it was his slogan. I thought it'd be a
Because they don't have nothing else to say, that's why.
Yeah, let's just
why.
flick this off.
Exactly. Well, they just think of the first thing pops in their mind. And that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm gonna